What's going on, guys? It's your boy Chris P back with another daily video. I hope that you guys are really enjoying these daily videos. I love making content for the community, and anything that I can go ahead and do to help you guys become profitable, that's exactly what I'm going to do. In today's video, I'm going to go ahead and explain the different types of stop losses that this indicator, Trusted Signals V3 bot. Okay, this is a strategy. Comes in a back testable version and an overlay. Obviously, you guys can see here, this is the back testable version, and we're gonna go ahead and play around, right? Since we have an open trade right here, which, by the way, this was actually given out in the Discord chat, link in the description, where you can go ahead and take these for absolutely free, build up your capital, and then eventually get your tools that you need to trade profitably. Now, I'm going to go ahead and talk about the different types of stop loss inputs. As you guys can see here, V3 is jam-packed with a bunch of money management tools, and stop loss and obviously take profits is a part of money management. And if you guys don't know, with this tool, it's very, very customizable in crazy, crazy ways. Obviously, risk management, okay? Before I even go into what stop loss types there are, when we're talking about risk management, using this in connection with Automated Trader, which is soon going to release the API, which is going to have seamless integration from Trusted Signals, TradingView, and MT4, MT5, right? Now, when we're talking about automating all these tools, when you have this on risk per trade, anytime that it hits your stop loss, it doesn't matter the distance, right? If your stop loss, for example, was up here, it hits your stop loss, that's still 2%. If it hits your stop loss down here, that's 2%. If your stop loss is 500 pips away and it hits your stop loss, that will still be 2%. And then obviously you can always choose to pretty much up the risk if you guys want. And then obviously, let's say, for example, let's say you're super risky and you want to go ahead and risk 10%, right? And keep in mind that this one has a crazy profitable factor, right? But let's say, for example, you guys wanted to go ahead and risk 10%. You change it to 10%, and if it hits your stop loss, that's 10% of your account. Keep in mind that this is with Automated Trader. But remember, once we get into profit, we also don't need to worry about stop loss because we have something called a trailing stop, which I will go over in a future video. Now, let me go ahead and bring that back here. I'm sorry, guys. Okay, so check this out, guys. Now, when we're talking about stop loss inputs, this system is jam-packed with a bunch of outputs and inputs to get you guys the customizable strategy that you guys want, because obviously this is already a built-in strategy, but of course every chart is different, every time frame is different, and therefore needs to also have different things that you need to do within the actual systems itself, right? So when we're talking about ATR, this is the first stop loss input. And as you guys can see here, it does change the profitability factor. Let's go ahead and actually generate. Let me refresh here. Reload. Right? Okay. Let me go ahead and come here. And let's go to ATR. Okay. So obviously, as you guys can see here, ATR changes a bunch of things. Now, what is ATR? This is exactly what I want to explain. I don't want you guys to focus necessarily on the profit factor, because remember, this is all dependent on what minute time frame you're on and all that good stuff, right? Some charts are going to give you better or worse, right? And like I said, this is why you guys need to go ahead and get the bot, play with it, so that way you guys can find good settings. It's pretty easy to find good settings, especially when you're looking at this specific area right here. Because, for example, if we go back to, let's say, what our previous stop loss was, which was the custom time frame super trend, right? You notice right there, stop loss inputs are going to give us different trades and different outs and different exit points, right? So therefore, we're taking more trades, taking less trades, depending on your stop loss type. Now, ATR, what is ATR? ATR is the average true range, right? It's going to go ahead and average up the last amount of candles. In this situation right here, this is 14 candles. Now, what we're going to go ahead and do is we're going to get the average true range of the last 14 candles, and it's going to multiply it by 2. And then therefore, you're going to go ahead and get your stop loss like this, right? Now, check this out. If we go ahead and measure how many stop pips and points this is, right? We're talking about, obviously we're on the 4 hour. So this is 194 pips, right? 194 pips stop loss, right? Because it's going to go ahead and basically look at the average of the last 14 candles, and then it's going to go ahead and double that average, and that gives you your stop loss input. Now, keep in mind, this also changes the way your TPs also function as well, depending on what type of TP values you have, which I will go over in my next video. There's a bunch of ways for you guys to go ahead and take profits. In this situation, I just want to explain this really quick. Our take profit values are risk and reward, meaning right here, 194 pips. If our stop loss is that, our TP1 is going to be half of that. And then our TP2 is going to be 194 pips. And then our TP3 is going to be double 194 pips, just to give you guys an understanding of that. Right. So that's basically it for ATR. It's going to go ahead and give you the average range. And then, of course, if you guys want to go ahead and mess around with this, you guys can get the average of the last 20. You can have different multipliers. And then, of course, it's going to go ahead and change the way you trade, right? It's going to go ahead and trade differently, right? I have this system very, very calculated to not take any false signals. So as you guys can see here, we do hit take profits on a large basis, right? And keep in mind that depending on where you have your ATR and where your stop loss is, your TPs will change because we have risk to reward. Now, let's go ahead and go to pips and points. If you guys are going to go ahead and change this, right, it changes the profitability factor. We're taking more trades. Pips and points, our stop loss is going to be 50 pips. And if we measure right now, as you guys can see here, the reason why I actually thought this was a really good video to make is because we have an open trade right here. So it's going to go ahead and visually give us exactly what we want, so that way we can see how the trades would have played out, what's the difference, and so on and so forth, right? Now, in this situation, right, this is 50 pips. This is our stop loss. So that means our TP1 is 25 pips, our TP2 is 50 pips, and then our TP3 would be 100 pips, right? So keep in mind, we broke past TP3, and now we have a runner on. That's another feature which I will talk about in the next video, right? Runner. So obviously, since we have runner, it's not going to go ahead and close 100% of the trade, right? So keep in mind that that was 50 pips. And let's see what happens if I go ahead and change that to 100, right? Pips and points. And then all you have to do is change that, right? Now check how far the stop loss is. And then also keep in mind that this means more profits, because if your stop loss is, for example, 100 pips, right? That's about 100 pips right there. It's exactly 100 pips when my measuring tool is not getting it precise, but that's 100 pips to the stop loss. That means our TP1 is 50 pips, our TP2 is 100 pips, and then our TP3, right, which would be up here, is 200 pips because it's double, right? So that's pretty much it for pips and points. Now it gets to the custom time frame super trend, right? And if we go ahead and go back here, you guys can see here, actually right here, we have the high and low. And then this is the one that I'm using a lot, guys, because I feel like this one on 1 hour charts is very, very powerful. Let's go ahead and see exactly what the results are. Keep in mind that I'm not customizing anything. This is just pretty much default settings, and I'm running pretty much just tests. This is not the exact strategy. This is just to give you guys an example of what the pips and stop loss would look like when you change certain things around, right? So let's go ahead and go back to the 4 hour, just because this is what the trade looks like. And I think that it's visually more appealing for you guys. Don't mind the profit factor. Remember, we're not choosing a profit factor. We're not choosing a stop loss input that is giving us these results, right? And each chart is going to be different. Each time frame is going to be different. And depending on what you're trading is going to be different. So it's going to go ahead and need different stop loss types. Excuse me. So keep in mind that this is on a high and low, okay? High and low stop loss input, and it's gonna go ahead and give us the look back length, let's say for the last 10 candles, right? And if we go here, okay, from our entry price, it's gonna go ahead and look at the lowest area in the last 10 candles. So for example, if we look right here, this is one. So we entered here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Those are 10 candles right there, and it's gonna find the lowest points, and it's going to go ahead and put our stop loss right there. And keep in mind that doesn't matter how many pips it is, it's going to change obviously your TP values as well because it's risk to reward. And if we measure this situation right here, this is 400 pips. The reason why I like this specific strategy right here is because no trade is going to be different, right? So for example, if I go ahead and put the candles to back here, right? And I go ahead and let's say, for example, look for the highest or lowest in the last 60 candles, right? Check this out. It's not gonna even go ahead and do it because that's just too much. Let's go ahead and let's do 20 candles, right? Let's see how high we can actually put this thing here. Okay, so 20 candles is still right here. Let's see if we can get back here. I don't think that it's gonna go ahead and do it just because it's so far back. Let me see here, look back. Let me go ahead and put 40. See if it picks up. Okay, 40 will still be around here. I think the max usually is around 20. Let me see here. So 50. Boom. Let's see. Okay. So as you guys can see here, right, it's going to go ahead and look back at and it just looks super stressed out, right? So, and keep in mind, the reason why we actually see it like this is because, remember, our trade was opened over here previously, right? Right here. Now, because we have the pips and stop loss so far, because we're looking at the past 50, right, as look back length, now we're not taking as many trades. Now you can see it go from 33 trades, 73 trades to only 14 trades. And that's because of the simple fact we're looking back too far, right? So that gives you an idea of what the look back length is, right? It's going to go ahead and find the lowest area or the highest area in the last X amount of candles, right? And keep in mind, if we go ahead and actually let's do 5 candles, right? Now our trade is back up there. I'm going to go here. Right? It's going to go ahead and look back at the last 5 candles and the lowest point. It's going to go ahead and just add your stop loss. Okay? So that's just something to go ahead and think about. Now, when we're talking about the CTF super trend and the higher time frame super trend, okay? Once you change these right here, the inputs are not over here, okay? And check out these results, right? The results, what we're going to go ahead and look at is going to actually go back down to your custom settings. Right? So if you go down right here, this is where your multi-time frame super trends are. So this is a custom time period, meaning it's going to go ahead and look back at the certain amount of candles length and see what trend it was following. Was it bullish? Was it bearish? Right? And it's going to go ahead and place your stop loss at that exact moment where it became bullish or bearish. Okay? And if we go ahead and put it back to the default, it should change a few things right there. Right? But now here's the thing, right? When we're talking about that, you can also go ahead and do a higher time frame. Okay, it's very similar. The custom time frame is gonna just look back at the certain amount of candles in the super trend. And when we're talking about the higher time frame, okay, it's gonna go ahead and either be the 1 hour, 4 hour, right? And if we plot this, you guys can see right here. Boom. Okay. Right there. Okay, that little dot right there, that's the higher time frame. So on the higher time frame, this is when it became bullish, and it's gonna go ahead and read that. Okay, let me go ahead and go here to your higher time frame and change that. Boom. And as you guys can see here, it's looking at where the trend began, and it's going to go ahead and place our stop loss. Now, keep in mind, like I said, because of this specific stop loss strategy, we're staying in a trade super, super long. Now, is it profitable over time? This one isn't on this specific time frame. However, if you do look into different charts and different time frames, this can be a profitable solution for you. And like I said, if you guys wanted to go ahead and change what higher time frame we're looking at, you guys can do that right here. Auto time frame, or if you want to define the time frame, you guys can. And let's say we want to go ahead and do the 1 month, right? It's going to go ahead and do that for you as well. But obviously, you guys can see it put a stop loss, and now the trade is pretty much obsolete. It's not pulling up any strategies because from the beginning of the time, if we're looking at the weekly, it's not getting us in any trades in this backtest dates, right? That's too far. So essentially what this is, different ways to go ahead and begin your journey to profitability. And like I said, everything here is fully customizable. It's going to go ahead and give you different results. And check this out, guys. This is a very, very profitable solution. Check this out. Obviously, this works on multiple time frames, multiple charts. So just test it out and tell me what you guys think. Right now, for a limited time, you guys can use code Trusted Signals. Actually, use the code V3Beta, and it's going to get you $1,000 off of our tools. And like I said, if we go ahead and check in here, right, we're literally hitting TP1, TP2, and TP3s all day, every day. And like I said, daily videos from your boy. Hit that thumbs up button. Until the next video, I'm out. Peace.